You use a metaphor that, as an insurance agent, like makes me very nervous. Because catastrophes are not a thing we like. That being said, there could be a good catastrophe. What, in God's name, is a hype tornado?
That's a great question. So this goes back to the book and the process of writing it. I was writing it thinking about the photographers and other creatives who had questions, they wanted to learn more. And I was thinking, I was just doing some self-evaluation. Why has my business grown the way that it has? And then how can I teach that to other people? And realizing that there was like this increasing amount of hype forming, buzz, excitement, and why was that? And I was giving it some thought, thinking about basically the flywheel concept. And I started, I think, again, science teacher that I am, thinking about the concept of a vicious cycle, which is two or more things working together that make things worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was like, it's like that, but it's positive. The positive term or the positive version of a vicious cycle is a virtuous cycle. And I was like, well, that's kind of boring and clinical and doesn't really capture anybody's imagination.
Right, probably needs explanation.
So that's just a positive feedback loop of two or more things working together to make things better and better and better. And I was like, I need a term. I need to come up with a term for that just captures like what I have in my mind. And it just immediately hit, well, it's a hype tornado. And that just kind of stuck. And so I ended up writing a short section about it and just kind of introducing the concept in my book. But the more that I've thought about it and the more that I've talked about it, the more it's kind of grown as hype tornadoes are wont to do.
Yeah, it works.
And so there's three, I call it three environmental conditions required to
I love
form.
how much he sticks to the plan.
I am committed to this metaphor.
I love it.
So three environmental conditions that all have to be there for a hype tornado to form. So the first one is, and we kind of mentioned this already, you have to have a killer product or service.
Right.
It cannot be mediocre. It cannot be average. It cannot be, well, I could get the exact same thing 10 other places.
Right.
There has to be something about it that is like just wows people. The second thing is there needs to be unforgettable client experience. People need to come away feeling like you had their back, you had their best interest in mind, you solved their problems, you made them feel taken care of, you made them feel heard, you made them feel empowered. Third is something I'm calling a social presence that adds value. And this is actually where the accelerate equation kind of fits in. They're not like two separate frameworks that have nothing to do with each other. The social presence that adds value, well, if you're going to have a social presence, you have to have connections and you have to have some sort of relationship or felt relationship. And of course, the things on the bottom of the equation that you're trying to minimize also fit in there as well. But it's basically, how can I take that social presence and use it in a way that brings real value to people in my network, here's the key, regardless of if they ever use me or my services. That my goal is not, well, I'm only going to give you value if you come and buy my service. No.
Which is not in the definition of value, right? In order for a thing to have value, it is something you give, right? Not something that you take.
Right.